Welcome to The Ancient Way. I'm James.
I'm Marlia.
And I'm Todd.
Finally got a special guest on this show.
I've been called special a lot in my life.
It's been a long time in the making for this one.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it really has. It's been like some months.
Yeah. Keep trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
Well, it's just because they love hearing us talk, but it's always better with a third.
Right. Yeah. It's about time. This is the first guest we've had in.
Yeah. I was thinking about it. I think like since March.
Yeah. A long time.
Yeah.
That's a lot of us just.
We just talk in circles.
Yeah.
Well, those circles are so awesome to listen to. Like I've listened since I started going to Hoff. And it felt like I got really close to y'all on the podcast, and then I'd see you at church and I'd be like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And you're like, I don't even know you, bro. Get your hand off my shoulder." Like, "Oh, James, I know you so good." And he's like, "All right, creeper."
It's not so.
Who's this bizarre man that just walked into me?
Oh,
That's
Lord.
funny.
No, from day one, I have felt like you're just my older brother.
Yeah, no, that
is
a hitter right there, because it's like for the first time in forever, really. I mean, I've connected with y'all at Hoff, and it's like early on, Carrie and I were like, man, we feel like we're family, like siblings.
100%.
I love that.
Well, the first time you showed up, which was years ago when I first started coming to
2018.
Hoff, was it 2018? You
Yeah.
came to one of our groups or something.
Yeah, the
I was just-
men's.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, this dude's solid. I just felt it. It's like there's a purity about your heart. It's just evident in there.
That's
Absolutely.
Jesus leaking out. Is what
Yeah,
that
exactly.
is.
Yeah, that's it.
For sure.
So last night, this has happened twice. I prayed about a guest that we will have probably coming up, and I had a dream about it. Well, last night I was so excited. I started praying about today. I was praying for this thing, and lo and behold, the Lord gave me a dream. We were sitting in this room, all three of us, and Todd, you, at some point in the show, you pulled out this big trophy and awarded it to somebody.
Ooh.
And so I'm thinking something that you're going to say or share, or it coming from your person, someone is going to be able to claim that. And I feel like it's really going to change somebody.
Amen.
As a trophy of something they're going to take. So,
I'm grabbing that. That's a good word.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll draw you. I can draw you a picture of what this trophy looked like.
Oh, it's a Super Bowl looking trophy.
Man, no.
Bigger?
No.
More fantastic?
It was definitely more fantastical. It was big. But it was something they could take, and you gave it to them.
Amen.
So
be it, Lord.
Good.
Absolutely.
Then let's get into it.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Yep.
Okay, so let's lead off with it.
Okay.
Here's your question. Do you believe in life on other planets?
Oh, absolutely. What do you mean by planets?
Whatever your definition of planets are.
Really?
Wow, yeah.
No, I definitely do. I mean, to think otherwise, and I don't mean just scientifically or like naturally, planets, aliens, little green guys. I think the world is much bigger than we think it is. Even just thinking like quantum physics or quantum science, it's like as big as we can see, there's equally that it's small. And to think that this was it's short-sighted. And I think that they're definitely, like, even with angels, created beings that were beyond our perception that serve the Lord. They're in there and they're out there. So, and how we encounter them and how we engage them is subject to our sensitivity to the Lord. And so that's the thing I've been, maybe we'll get into some of that later, but
Yeah.
it's
good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
I think to think otherwise is to limit God.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually to put a limit on him, to be like, yeah, he only created this very small, tiny.
There's that. And also what you said, like, all those things are seen and unraveled through connection to the Lord, relationship with Him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it unlocks,
the
His
pure
vastness.
way.
Yeah, the pure way.
That's the demonic. That's what they do. I mean, you can see Saul doing that with I don't know what people, maybe they call her the Witch of Endor or whatever.
Yeah,
she went,
right.
They went, he's like, dude, I'm tripping out. I gotta
get to Samuel.
I need help.
Mm-hmm.
And Samuel's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
The Bible didn't say, and a demon manifest and lied that. No, it was like Samuel was like, dude, you flipped. But that's the thing. It's like, it's more real than us.
Yeah.
I mean, than this imagery that we see around us with our senses.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get in a intimate relationship with the Holy Spirit, it's like you've built a freeway, an interstate, instead of like peeking through the keyhole.
Yeah.
So it's like, the Highway of Holiness, and
Mm-hmm.
on there's no thing can harm you.
Yeah.
It's like the Holy Ghost is just taking you on a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's designed to overflow into this realm. And and so
that's cool.
By God's grace, we just pop in every now and then, do your taxes, and pop back out. Go back into that.
That's legit. The Highway of Holiness.
Mm-hmm.
And that talking about the keyhole to like the highway thing, and just the realization and the understanding of how close He actually is.
Mm-hmm.
He's not up in the sky. He's not the Santa Claus wizard in the sky with a beard. Like, He's intimate and He's close. He's like intermingled with your thoughts. He's that close. And with that, the knowledge of that, which is knowing who He is and what He paid for and what He did. That's when the freeway or the highway opens up.
Yeah.
That's what unlocks it all.
Is just accepting that reality.
Oh, yeah.
When you just accept, like, that's there.
Right.
That He's there, that He's with me.
Mm-hmm. So Todd, your story, when was your very first encounter with the Lord where you're like, oh, I'm speaking with Him, or He's
here.
The awareness, yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of I had a dream when I was 6 or 8, somewhere in there. And it's not a good dream, but it was my first real, like, I don't know how to explain it. The dream was, I was standing back, right? You're in a room, right? And someone opens a door in front of you it's like letting in a flood of light, right? Just like super bright. You can't see anything. The door opened, and in the door there were 2 figures. And one turned away, the one in front of the bigger figure, and walked through the door, and the door closed. And I didn't have to have it explained. It was like I knew what it was, and I woke up crying. And I just was just wounded in my heart. And I get up out of my bed and I run into my mom's bed, my mom and dad's bed, like every parent knows.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, I woke my mom up. I was like, God left me. God left me. And she's like, no, God would never leave you. And that dream sort of marked my life in a unique way. It's something I hadn't remembered until I started listening to y'all's podcasts, quite honestly. But it was a mark that when I recollected it, when the Lord brought that back to my conscious memory, I started picking at that, and it was like, man, He is so faithful. It's a sensitive thing to my heart because it had dual meaning. It was like He was preempting my parents' divorce. He was preempting my heart to endure it. And because it was not long after that this may sound bizarre, but I tried to kill myself at like 7 years old. And I just laid under my neighbor's car Saturday morning and waited for him to go to tennis. And he never got in the car. And I was under the wheel, like my head was under the wheel. But that sounds creepy, crazy. But in the light of my environment, it was just the way it was. But God intervened, and my mom's voice echoed in my spirit. It's like, God would never leave me. And shortly thereafter, I saw a Gideon's guy on my way to school handing Bibles out. And he's like, Jesus is coming back. Are you ready? And I'm like, Jesus is coming back. I know he was born in a manger. So I guess, and everybody says I'm a good kid. Maybe I'm Jesus. I thought I was like, I'm a good kid. People say that. So maybe I got born to be Jesus. And as confusing and diluted as that seems with the dream and the suicide, it was like God had his hand in it, and he was building a framework in my life for his supernatural power.
Yeah.
And his supernatural presence and relationship that later in my life would manifest in so many amazing God ways, beyond, no merit of my own, absolutely. So that's kind of, I don't know what question you asked.
No, that's...
What I think is so
incredible.
Pure about that is like, in the purity of your mind, you're actually like, well, maybe I'm actually Jesus.
Yeah.
Which is like...
And it feels like he probably wanted you to
think
that and say that.
Like, yo, he's actually, like, he's bound with me.
Yeah.
In that mind of like, he and I are one. Not that you were fully Yahweh himself, but like...
God with a little G.
Yeah, like he's in you and he's with you.
And that's just sweet of him setting up the framework.
Yeah,
like
dude.
Framing your life and putting it into places. And he knows who you are now.
Yeah.
Like at that point in time, he's like, oh, I know where he's going. And he's just like laying these pathways for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels good.
Incredible. Yeah.
That feels good.
It's amazing how, each person, right? Each individual person is unique. And the Father has designed us like I don't even know what to compare it to, but so deep, so able to receive all these like emotions and perceptions, and how God can speak to us on a molecular level. His voice comes in and it's like, you didn't hear him, you knew him. It's like, there's a potential there in every person. That witch that you see at the Scarborough Fair, or that homeless guy that's staggering down the street. There's that divine potential, that divine created, design. And, I've since I've been at Hoff, God's really challenged me, like where we were having coffee. Well, I gave you all your coffee mugs before, and you said something, Marley, you're like, oh, is that prejudice? No, you said, is that racist? And the Lord has shown me in the last several weeks, he challenged me. He's like, it's prejudice, not racist, that he's concerned about.
Right.
It's the prejudice. You size someone up and you put them in your in their spot
category.
Say, this is who you are. This is what you do. This is what you'll be. These are your problems. And you set them on the shelf, and then you say, oh, hi, I'm Todd. How are you? I've never met you before. And God's just like, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't give you that.
Right.
Why? And it's the Isaiah 11.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you listening with? Are you listening with your ears? Because you're making a mistake. Are you seeing this through your eyes? Because you are going to step off into a pit. And I'm just like, man, God, I want to be like you. Help me to be like you and not be prejudiced. Because So anyway.
No, it's That's interesting. I think about that a lot. Yeah, prejudice, but racism is like elitism. It's like our race is superior, which is, things been flipped. But last night, how did that come up? Cultures. Oh, yes. Okay, so we had movie night, watched Sylvester Stallone's Samaritan. Don't watch it.
Adrian.
Yeah, I wish.
That would have been better.
Yeah. But then we watched the Tower of Babel documentary, basically. Wow. It was talking about the cultures, and I had an experience yesterday and recently, things have been about culture and race, but what precedes culture, race, color, everything is who we were created to be, our humanity. Like we all show up in these suits. And my thing that I've been on over the past probably year or two has been, if there is a grid of seeing color or the stereotyping thing of placing people in categories. Hierarchies, yes. I think the reason, I guess God in it, or the opportunity, is to learn to see them by the Spirit, like Todd's saying. It's like, Lord, give me that.
Yeah.
It's like, let me know this person by their heart, by who they are. And eliminate the grids. And it's just so ingrained in everybody.
It is.
But that's the thing we talked about in the last episode, was like his promises and his way. He wouldn't give it to us if it wasn't for us to walk in fully.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
It's there for that to happen, for us to grow in it.
That means everybody.
Yes.
Everybody has the potential to not carry a filter.
Right. Yes.
You actually have the potential to walk in absolutely every single thing that he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's there. It's before us.
Yeah, and I think that similarly goes back to the garden, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
God put all the trees in the garden.
Mm.
There's not one he didn't put in there.
Right.
Knowledge of good and evil, he put it in there.
Yeah.
Why? There's a timing and a season for him to take us into areas that we haven't been into yet. A place of maturity, a place that he's leading you into a new season, a new place to walk in something that you hadn't walked in. And so it's like there's a time and a place, and when we circumvent his plan, his will, I want that fruit now. Eve takes it down, sautés it with a little garlic, slices it up, serves it over the top of a steak. And, hey, Adam, look at this. It's like, is that the fruit off? Yeah, okay, well, it tastes good. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like there's his plan, his timing, and we will walk in it as he has, but not until he leads us into it. He's the good shepherd. And I guess that's my point, is that we like to jump, I love to throw we out there and sort of shield myself. But I love to jump way ahead. Like, oh, that's cool. I want to do that. And I jump out and I fall on my face, and it's like, he's like, hey, I'm here, bro. I'll help you up. I love your ambition. I love your zeal, but follow me.
I think that's like Peter, though.
Yeah.
Peter had so much zeal, so much so that he took the sword and cut the dude's ear off.
Oh, yeah.
He was so zealous for the Lord, and the Lord never rebuked him for his zealousness.
Yeah.
He was just like, that's just not how we're going to roll this time.
Right.
This is not the way.
Yeah.
That's true. I'm the same way, though, Todd. I want to just go shoot lightning bolts out of our hands and heal people. Everybody. Just nonstop. Just the wrecking ball.
Thunder.
Yes.
Sons of thunder. Hey, let's call thunder. That's what those boys.
Yeah. What does the Lord's thunder look like? Probably not destructive. It's like, I don't know. But anyways, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
But one thing, too, is the time and the place, but then the follow through with the little tiny things that he gives you, the little crumbs. It's like follow through with those little ones, and it leads
into
the bigger ones. It's like David.
Oh, absolutely.
With the lion and the bear and stuff.
Dude. Oh, even as you said that, Daniel said it this last week in the message, but it was like David went and ate the showbread.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so, hey, whoa, David, that's not for you. You're not the priest. He's like going into realms that he's not allowed. Yeah. By faith.
Do you know what I think is interesting, though? Here's the contrast. Saul did the same thing. He took on the role of what a priest should do.
Yeah.
And he was rebuked, and his kingdom was taken from him, right? Because he did it in his own strength, and he did it because he feared the people.
Yeah.
Do you remember, when he sacrificed?
Yeah.
And Samuel rolled up and was like, yo, because you didn't wait on me.
Yeah.
You didn't wait for the prophet or literally for us to get here. You took it into your own strength. You did it. The kingship was revoked from him.
Yeah.
But then David rolled in and still did the same thing.
Yeah.
Eating the showbread, which he wasn't allowed to do, but he was led.
And he, like James said, all the details. He had done the little things leading up to it.
The faithfulness with the little things, yeah.
He wasn't afraid of man, and he wasn't afraid of, he literally, I think David is the most beautiful example of just following the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, in all things.
Yeah.
Even when he screwed up, he had such a repentant heart.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, he followed the Lord through repentance.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And humility's key in it all as well.
yeah.
It's like the little things. It teaches you to be dependent on the Lord in each one and to watch Him and to follow through with what He gives you. Because, I mean, if we did jump the gun, or some people, I mean, if you did jump the gun and started shooting lightning bolts out and healing people and stuff, it's probably the worst form of, like, treason if you were to say, this is me.
Yeah.
Or you would draw people to yourself, even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But it's interesting how we perceive even jumping out ahead of God, because it's not the miracles. Like my brother, the first week he got born again, he raised my cousin from the dead.
yeah.
He hadn't been born again in 5 days.
Yeah.
He still had a mullet.
That's right.
He probably still had like drugs in his system.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it isn't doing that. It's the presumption jumping out into areas you don't belong. Like,
Right.
like maybe the seer realm or even like prophetic to where you're just butchering stuff and slaying people, with like words of knowledge that you prophesy over people. Oops. That's your word of knowledge is to lead you into ministering kingdom to them, not using it as a machete and chopping them up.
Yeah.
It's like, you can sit down and let me teach you and take you into that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like, I know that, He's faithful to take us into it in that season, even in our flawed states of like, like chopping the high priest's guard's ear off. He's like, hey, when I told you to keep a sword, take a sword, I didn't mean cut people up with it.
Yeah.
Or this isn't the season for that, or whatever, however that dices out.
But he honors the zeal. That's incredible about you said your brother?
Yeah, my older brother.
Yeah, let's talk about that story.
That's cool.
I wanted to go into that.
Did I tell you?
No.
Oh, well, he rose him from the dead.
What happened? Give me the full context. I'm a woman. I need all the details.
He was dead and now he's alive. No, my brother, he is one of the most gifted guys I've ever known.
You're talking about the guy that we got to pray over, yeah?
No, that's my little brother.
This is a different brother. So you've got nothing but giant slayers in your family.
Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, for sure. I feel bad for my older brother a lot because the system just ground him up. He went to a Bible school, a conservative, very rigid Bible school I won't mention. And rewind. You asked about his first week of being born again. Because there was his Bible school story is nuts too. But anyway, my mom in her loving motherly way, she'd had enough of my satanic brother. He was in a witch coven. He was, smoking everything he could put a fire to and dropping everything he could get in his eye or his mouth or whatever. And just beast. And so he came home one night from a Ozzy Osbourne concert, by the way. Yeah, biting those heads off.
I know the bats. Yeah.
He worshipped Ozzy.
Really?
Ozzy is God. We had confrontations, he and I.
Oh, wow.
About that. And one night, this is an aside. I have a lot of those. I had an encounter with God when I was 12, right? So I was like doing my best. Like, what is this? Anyway, and so I'm like this little kid trying to be Jesus, right? And so my brother comes home one night from I don't know from what, and he turns the stereo on in our room, and Iron Maiden has a song. It's the Mark of the Beast song.
I've heard it, yeah.
You know, where he's like in that voice, right? And he's saying the Bible verse. I don't even remember which one.
At the beginning of the song?
Yes.
Yeah.
He cranks it up, max volume.
Oh.
I'm asleep in the bed. And we shared a bed. And I wake up, I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, just raging in the room. I'm like, oh, what is going on? Anyway, so this is my brother before Jesus. And so he comes home one night and just passes out. Mom it takes my little brother and him to church the next morning at 7. The bus is leaving for Yazoo, Mississippi, and for Bible camp. So she takes my passed out brother, puts him on the Bible bus for, I guess, a 6-hour drive, passed completely out, wakes up in Yazoo or near Yazoo, going through Mississippi country, in a bus with a bunch of kids, and he wakes up and he's like, "What is going on?" He gets off the bus, and the initial meeting is like an introduction, and the evangelist is sharing, youth pastor or whatever he is, and he's at the front, right? And they always have the chairs out back out in front of the thing. And my brother gets off. He's probably crusty, smelling like probably who knows what. Yeah. And they're all in there, and he's out in the hallway talking to my mom on a phone. He's like cussing her. I hate you. How did you do this? And so after deliberating out there, he comes in and they're all sitting down already. He comes in, picks the chair up in the back, turns it around backwards, slams it down, and sits down with his back to the preacher. Welcome to Bible camp, children.
Yeah.
That's funny, dude.
So
yeah, he's a passionate guy.
2 days later,
I'm here for that.
Yeah.
He tackles the altar. He just said he said, I couldn't. It was like that irresistible grace, right? God moved on man's heart. He just said, I couldn't take it. He got up, he ran and tackled the altar, and then everybody comes and lays hands on him and prays for him.
Oh yeah.
And he got born again. And so it's a long way of telling the story, but I love it. It helps the context.
Yeah.
Nope, so I wanted all the details.
You see where he came out of, right?
Yeah.
Or you don't see it all, but you see the result. And so they're on their way home. He's totally transformed. He's like, what is this? This is better than anything I ever smoked, dropped, or ate. And
how old is he?
He's 18 months older than me, so he's 56 in August. Okay.
How old was he when all this was going down?
He was 18, barely 18.
Oh, okay.
Barely. Yeah. No? 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
That gives me more context.
Yeah.
I was thinking some 12-year-old's like
he
slamming acid or something.
Yeah, no, that was him.
So that was him? Okay.
Yeah. My first joint, I was 6.
Oh, okay. Well,
but he was no doubt equally gifted in badness. so he.
I say you're actually true people that desire the spirit realm and can see in the spirit realm. That's why.
Oh, for sure.
That's why drugs allured.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually a lot of it.
We'll go with that.
I'm just saying, most people that crave the drugs,
you're seekers.
Yeah,
seekers.
It's that.
Into the spirit realm, like not settled with this domain.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyways, keep going. I really want to hear the rest of this.
So the bus rolls up. He gets off the bus. My mom is like beside herself, tripping, and my brother's like, "How's this look?" And he comes in. He just starts wrecking shop. I mean, he's just like getting rid of all the.
Was this
junk.
Bible camp that y'all went to, was it like, I hate these words, but I don't know another way to, like, spirit-filled, not charismatic? Okay.
No, it wasn't.
So he had zero grid.
He had nothing, no grid. We had been going to this.
Of how to raise the dead.
No.
He'd just be doing it.
Oh, wait till you hear how he did it.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just so
Chomping at the
excited.
bits here.
So literally, he knows nothing other than that's bad. This is good. I mean,
he's been introduced to the Lord, though.
Introduction to Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, demoniac. He's like, is naked still good? And he's like, no, let's get you some clothes, bro. Anybody got a tunic? Put it on him. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no, he just didn't know anything. And so he rolls up on the bus, he gets off, and they're on their way home to my house. And I'm in Watonga, Oklahoma. I had been praying for him all summer. And the best I know how.
And you were 18?
No, he was 18.
Well, you were in that
16.
same
He was
zone.
almost 18.
But the fact that you prayed for him all summer blows my mind as like a 17 or 18-year-old.
Yeah.
I wasn't praying for people.
Dude, I was ambitious.
That was that's solid.
I was like, God, make me the best.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's legit.
Anyway, so he rolls up. They get out, literally. They still, they just got out of the car on the way home. And they were with my cousin. My cousin is my little brother's 4 years younger than me, and my cousin is like 3 or 4 years younger than him. So my cousin was like 5. And so we live right by railroad tracks, and you know how railroad tracks are elevated. So literally by the tracks. And so they're playing, and somehow my cousin runs across the street. Simultaneously, the Mazda RX-7 is coming over the tracks, over the railroad tracks, plows him. And my brother said that he's like launched this little boy in the air, like 20 feet. And the car's like skid, certain donuts out into the hayfield. And there sits my cousin lumped up in a big wad. And you know how accidents happen, right? They unfold. There's car crashes. First car passes by, looking back, tripping. Second car stops. Third car stops. And the adults are getting out, right, at this point. Born again, just like baptismal waters on his face probably, or it just is like doesn't know anything. Mullet. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. He had like dyed his hair a white streak down the center of his head with a big mullet. So it was like a skunk head. So
that's incredible.
Here he is, and cousin in a big wad on the pavement, and he looks at my little brother.
And he's 5 years old.
The little boy is,
yeah.
My cousin. My brother says to my little brother, go get my Bible. My brother unfolds him, flattens him out. Adults are like, don't touch him. Don't touch him. She goes, sir, you be quiet. I know what I'm doing.
Oh my God. That's
I know what I'm doing. And there's no EMTs there or anybody, but just stand by adult guys. And so they back up. My little brother comes up with the Bible and he puts it on my cousin's chest and says, Jesus. And he keeps saying Jesus. This is it. And my cousin, that was a big wad, and now he's an unfolded wad. Obviously not in a good shape. He's not conscious. He's laying there and he says, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. By then the EMTs come up. Then my cousin starts getting up, looking around, like, what happened? Everybody's tripping. The EMTs walk up. They're like, well, what happened? And the people are like, that little boy just got ran over and he was just mauled. And now he's not mauled. So, and my brother's like, that was his literally stepping off the Bible bus, getting born again, and Intro to Christianity 101.
Wow.
Yeah. And they take him in. The EMTs are tripping. They're like, well, these people are freaking out. The kid's fine. The dad rolls up. They're like, what happened? We heard you, And take him in, nothing wrong with him. No broken bones, no bruises, nothing.
That's incredible.
Yeah. But that's normal.
Yeah.
Like, just as an example, right? That's normal Christianity.
Totally.
He didn't know anything. How long had he fasted? Did I say?
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, wait.
All of 0 days.
He had prayed.
Maybe 5 times.
Never.
I'm just kidding.
Probably never.
Yeah.
He didn't pray to get born again. He didn't pray to raise him from the dead.
Hmm.
Then he told the people, like, hey, back up. I know what I'm doing. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Like, hey, leave the room.
That
sounds biblical. There's something to that.
Dude, this life is fantastic.
The level of confidence in that, like, that's what I think is so pure. Like, to me, that's the simplicity of Christianity.
Yeah.
Is just this pure confidence of, like, I know when I call on my daddy's coming.
Yeah.
Period.
It's the belief in the connection. So, yeah.
He didn't even, think about it you first meet someone, right?
Yeah.
You really don't know them.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting to know them. And his experience with the Father had been so brief, but yet he was confident in what already happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that relationship was like, unbridled.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, though, he just awoke to who he had been from the foundations of the earth. It was just like the echo of eternity within him.
Yeah.
Of just like...
Yeah.
I love the simplicity of it.
Also,
it's just 2 days afterwards.
Maybe.
Or it's just like...
But what I think is cool, too, he literally didn't pray. You know when people normally pray for healing?
Yeah.
They've like, it's all these lengthy prayers and like... Got to make sure the verbiage is right.
Cover your bases.
Yeah.
Do it right.
He literally just screamed Jesus.
Just did it. Yeah. That's it.
He didn't. That's what he knew was.
And he did what he knew.
Yeah.
Like.
And there's a story behind him knowing. There's a story behind that.
Well, go into that and then tell me your stories.
Okay. The story behind that is interesting. It was another holy, like, Clash of the Titans spirit thing. By the way, dude, my brother is the most amazing person. My older brother. He's like so intelligent, so Holy Ghost. He discipled me. And I couldn't tell you enough good stuff about him, but amazing guy. And so the way he had experienced that way of manifesting the power of heaven was, oddly enough, like 7 sons of Sceva.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that story?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my brother, during his demonic phase, he had like encountered, it was pre-witch coven, and he had been dabbling in this guy named Aleister Crowley.
Oh, yeah, I know that fool.
Ozzy Osbourne has a song about him.
Oh, interesting.
As well, yeah.
He led by Ozzy. He had been discipled by Ozzy, my brother. So he's like Aleister Crowley. So he's into that, right? And he's getting all into this. But in his defense, he was introduced to it by my dad. All of that demonic, supernatural stuff, like levitating tables and communicating with demons and dead and all that. So he did what he was taught, Yeah. And so my dad, being the hero that he likes to be, he said, okay, I'm going to fix this. Of course, my mom and him are divorced, but my mom called him over and said, you need to talk to your son, Jeff. He's really struggling and he's super rebellious and bad, doing all the bad things. So he comes over. My dad had talked, completely unbeliever, just as much as an unbeliever as you can imagine. That was my dad. And so he goes to talk to my Christian uncle, and he's like, hey, how do you cast demons out of people? And my uncle, being he quick pulls up verse. He's like, well, this is the way you do it. And he's like, okay, so what do I do? And he goes, well, just the name of Jesus. Every knee must bow. Okay. So my dad calls my brother out, and I'm in bed again, right? We share the same room. So my dad comes in. He's like, Jeff, come in here. And my dad, like, was super intimidating, super beast. Like, yeah. So my brother jumps up, comes out of bed, and I'm like, what in the world's going on? And I'm laying there in bed, and I hadn't really had a relationship with God, but I did have this encounter that some of the stuff I was telling you about. And I hear this voice, pray. I'm like, eh. It's like, what? It kind of startled me. I'm like, pray? What's that mean? I remember something about going in your closet. So I go in my closet, I get on my knees, and I'm like, Lord, bless this food to my body. Wait, no, not that one. I didn't know what that guy was doing. So I'm in there. I'm just like, Jesus, help. No idea what was going on. In the other room, my dad said, so the way this house is oriented is that it's like the kitchen, and then out of the kitchen comes a den and a walkway. And then my bedroom and my brother's bedroom. And dividing the kitchen from the bedroom was a breezeway with sliding glass doors. And I was on opposite. So its orientation is important in this story, because my dad says, sit there. So he sits up on the stool in the kitchen and with his back to the sliding glass door, which was the breezeway in between he and I. And so I'm in the closet at this time. I have no idea what's going on. My dad says, I don't know what all he said to my brother, confronting him and probably threatening to beat him. And he's like, okay, repeat after me. And my brother's like, no. He's like, oh, well, whatever he said.
Yeah.
So he intimidated him into repeating after him. He says, say Jesus. And he's like, Jesus. He said, no, say it like you mean it. And he's like, this is my dad, right?
Yeah.
And so he's like, say Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. So they keep saying it. And my brother's like, I feel sick. I don't want to. He goes, that means it's working. So he's saying Jesus. And my brother said that he said something came from behind him like a wind. Like wind entered the room. And he said he felt something come through him from his back.
Yeah.
And he heard this, or like a thud. That's a clap. It's like,
yeah,
thud, hit my dad, boom, in the chest. And my dad, he threw his hands down by his sides, threw his head up in the air, and his throat bulged out like a frog. And all these voices were coming out of him. And my brother said it sounded like there were people calling out from a well. So my brother's like, what in the world? So my mom had been going to church. She's there tripping out. She's observing this. And so she says, Jeff, we need to pray for him. He's like, I'm not touching him. And so he's like, my dad's standing there, and the countertop, is a Formica countertop with a double sink in it. And he's standing there, and he like grabs it with his left hand because he's facing the glass window or the doors. He picks up the countertop off the top of the counters and wrecks the sink, pulls this up, and then this manifestation happens for a while. And my brother's introduced to the name of Jesus and the power that my dad had talked about our whole life, the power. And so my mom put hands on him and started saying Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And my dad calmed down, then walked around super creepy. Yeah. Because I came out of my closet. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I didn't go out, right? I just came back into my bed. And my dad opens the door and says some really creepy stuff. And I'm like, what is going on?
Huh.
So the name of Jesus, that was the whole point of that backstory, is that when he got born again, he just, there's power in the name of Jesus. I've seen it.
So question, I flipping love that.
Yeah.
Question, what did your dad ever get the opportunity to walk it out? Did he ever choose to walk out of all that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like a guy that was, went in and expected to win the Vegas jackpot.
Yeah.
That's my dad going in, right?
Yeah.
Of this big power life. And he walks out, penniless, and all the lint was stolen out of his pockets. That's the way he left that. It was always about him. But when his seeking power, my grandma was she was super sweet, precious, little bitty Native American bohemian woman. She's 5 foot nothing, and But her family had this thing they called the power, and they passed it down to the oldest girl in the family. Well, the oldest girl had died. Back then they gave her brandy or something, and she choked on it, and so it was out there, right? No girls, 3 brothers, and so my dad's seeking this power, and so forever he was talking about the power, and then
did they impart it to him?
No, again, being aggressive dad, he goes to get it, right? So he goes and he's like, starts trying to introduce it to us when we were little. We were like, lay hands on tables and get it to move. And then introducing us, talking to the dad and demons to get like football scores so we could make bets, and he's like, of course they know. They wouldn't lie, right? I mean, they want me to win.
Yeah, they're not liars.
Yeah.
No. So that was, but my dad got born again much later in his life when he heard Jeff, right? My older brother.
Yeah.
From that day forward, dude just set his face to heaven like a flint, and he's just like going. And Jeff shared with him continuously for years. And then I got born again 7 years later. And I started teaming up with my brother. And then my little brother got born again, and he teamed up with us on dad. And he was like, he had a lot of encounters.
Yeah.
A lot. Dude, I gotta tell you some of them. When we have more time. I don't want to bogart the mic. But what do you think?
You can't do it. We got all the time in the world.
Yo, I'm here for all of this.
No.
This is
We could
literally
sit
my
in
jam.
here for 4 hours and leave, and maybe we'll have
Edit
some
it
sort
down
of
to
time
2.
warp or something.
Hey, it's possible.
It is.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll try to be terse.
The dad story, though, the fact that he's just like, he's getting outnumbered. He's just growing around him and surrounding him. And how do you see that? Like Jeff, how do you see that transformation and not be like, oh, something's real here?
Well, you know how it is. I mean, he was like, okay.
But it's in there somewhere.
They look at that and they say, give him a week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Give him a week. He just raised a kid from the dead. Oh, but it probably didn't strike him exactly right. And when he flipped through the air, he landed just right.
Right.
Parkour.
Justify it.
But that's the way they do. It's
You
like,
got to rationalize it.
Yeah.
And so Jeff's transformed life. And they find any flaw, any chink in the armor. Oh, he's so immature. Oh, he made a mistake there. This is obviously not true. So many years later, after my dad, he kind of gave up on the power because he was left empty and broken by it.
Did your dad go follow Aleister Crowley and?
Oh no!
That was just your brother.
No, that was my brother. My dad was very cerebral. He read this one book. I don't even know who it was. It's some book, but he was very cerebral, science oriented, super approachable and friendly, and great guy to have as a friend if you're standing in front of him.
Yeah.
But terrible dad. So. But anyway, so all these events happen in his life, just transform, like supernatural power manifest in front of him. Like my older brother, I don't know many of his stories that he had with dad other than sharing the gospel and power, to where it's just like unfolding this guy's heart, supernatural words of knowledge about my dad. And one that happened with me was I don't even know where I was at the time. Maybe Bible school, maybe. Anyway, so I come to my dad's house and he's got lots of money. He's like, so that's not a problem for him. But so I have zero. So that's my problem in his eyes. He's like, oh, you're so poor. Come to my house, poor waif boy. I'll serve you some gruel, So I come to his house and, I'm talking to him just a mile a minute and talking about the power of God. And he's like, yeah. And he explains it in science or whatever. And so I'm still talking at him and he's walking away and I'm talking to him and he goes into his bathroom and he's like, yeah, God heals. Well, if God heals, then okay, my cat, Poe. He named him after Edgar Allan Poe. He goes, my cat, Poe. he's sick. He's got this cat disease. Took him into the doctor. I was like, Dad, God can heal your cat. He doesn't care about the healing. He cares about your heart. He wants you.
Yeah.
You're the goal, not wellness.
Yeah.
And my dad's just like, well, if it's real, why don't you pray for my cat and heal him? The cat hadn't drank or eaten in like a week, and he's on this meds or whatever, and they spent all this money on the cat. And I was like, yeah, God will heal your cat. So I said, in the name of Jesus, be healed. And then I go back and I said, when that cat's well, and you can look at that cat every time, you can remember that God is after your heart. He loves you. That cat gets up, jumps up, tripping, right, and runs out of the bathroom. And my dad's like, whoa, what? He said, and he stops and he's like, the medicine must have kicked in. I was like, it hadn't even been a minute since I prayed for the cat. So it's like, he's like short circuit. It's got to be the medicine. Can't be God.
Yeah.
Why? And so he's seeing these, like one time I was sharing with him, another time, just sharing kingdom and talking about demonic and the supernatural realm and how, this life is a shadow of the life to come. And I'm talking to him, and he's the kind of guy you're talking to him about Jesus, and he's right on the edge. You can see him. He's like standing on the edge, looking down, like, could I survive that fall? Just gravel's falling out from under his toes over the edge. So he's just like, let me help you. Push him in the back. Yeah. Go fly. But so this time I'm talking to him, and he's got this big house, and we're in this like sitting room. I don't know. It's like 30-foot ceilings, and there's these two chairs, and we're facing each other. And off to the left, there's these doors, like swinging doors, right? So I'm talking to him, and all of a sudden, you hear this, and the doors go, and he goes, "What was that?" I said, "Dad, it was probably demons running away because God is speaking here." And he's like, "What?" And he could not get off of what was that. He was caught up in what was that rather than what truth was being presented. Yeah. And so many times similarly. And so when he came to Christ, it was like it was just like a stage, like just shedding away skin after skin after skin, and brokenness, destruction to his own body. And then finally he has all those encounters count, right? And I don't know how to dice it up in the spirit, but at the end, he was on the phone with me, super humble. He's like, I learned so much from this experience. I'm so glad I went to jail. I'm like, what? This is real. Because he's always snarky. He is always the guy with the answers or excuses. And so after that, dude, he just I was like, I'm going to come by and see you. We're going to have a Christmas shop in Dallas. We'll come up and see you. And that was the last conversation I ever had with him.
Why did he go to jail?
Indiscretions.
Okay.
So I'll leave it at that. But nonetheless.
Did he die in jail?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
No. He went in, he did my dad's the guy that would fight a state trooper in the 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, hey, pass me the Fritos while you're down there, Dad. That guy's boot on your neck.
Yeah.
What did he pass from?
He had a heart attack.
Huh. How long ago was that?
7 years this weekend. This March. 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah, the next March will be 8. So I don't know how. I'm not good with time.
Yes, same.
He died Julius Caesar's famous day, March 15th. The Ides of March.
Interesting.
Yeah. That is extremely interesting.
Well, it's all that stuff is even more framework from the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's available. It's always there. He's always laying the framework and the invitation.
Listen, your dad now knows. Your dad knows more than anybody
Yeah.
how incredibly powerful this whole thing is.
For sure.
And the power that he had sought his whole life, I guarantee you he's been experiencing it for 7 years on this side.
Yeah.
Our 7-year framework.
Absolutely.
Right. And I think he knew. I think deep down in there, he just knew it was real. But there's that, it's like the cliff. It's the cliff thing of like trying to justify, the medicine kicked in. It's almost like, I'm not going to look at that, but that's it. It's totally real.
We try to rationalize.
But it is scary because it is so good and it is so real and it's startling, It
is.
Well, you have to let go of control.
Right.
You have to let go of a false sense of control.
Yeah.
Like that I can control this thing or like I can manage it.
Right.
Because you cannot manage the spirit realm. You can only join in with it.
You yield to the Lord, yeah.
You can't control it.
It's like those North Shore waves you see on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, go control that.
Yeah.
Grab a surfboard, go out there. Your best case scenario is you ride it until it's finished and then it destroys you.
Right.
But you get wrecked when you want to follow God.
Yeah.
You get wrecked. It's a destructive encounter.
Yeah. And then think about the yield of like, rather than standing on the edge of the cliff, like straight jumping every time something comes up, like all the way.
Dude.
He catches,
I've been watching The Hobbit, right? I love it.
Fantastic.
I actually think I like it more than Lord of the Rings.
I do.
My favorite thing, they just did them right. Like, they're real powerhouses. But Gandalf was in the trees when all this, like, they were hunted by all these, like, ravenous animals and orcs.
Okay.
Yeah. It's werewolves.
Or whatever they were. You hadn't seen it?
I haven't seen the Hobbit trilogy yet.
Dude,
oh my God.
We've got
to.
I'm going to. It's on the radar.
Come on, James.
I know. Samaritan, not the Hobbit.
Yeah, we should have. Listen.
Okay, I'm beginning to question your judgment here.
I know. I repent of my choices.
Come on, bro.
But Gandalf in the tree, he literally, like, all the dwarves have like fallen off the edge of this cliff that this tree has bent over, and they all land on these eagles. Well, Gandalf doesn't even look. Gandalf just like throws himself off of it, and an eagle out of nowhere just catches him.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, that is actually what this Christian walk is.
Oh yeah.
That is a supernatural life where you let go, knowing that you're going to get caught, knowing that you're going to soar, and knowing like you're not doing it even out of your own effort.
Right.
Like you're just riding this thing.
It's like meditate on that.
Yeah.
On the complete absence of the way the world works, the logistics of how situations are going to turn out. It's like, just give up.
Yeah.
It's a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You just fall over.
Just fall over and let it ride.
Oh yeah, that's freedom too.
Mm.
I guarantee you, Jesus wasn't worried about logistics.
No.
Okay, well, we're going to have to go to Damascus, and that's going to take us 3 days, and then we got to make sure that we've got enough food and water, and then we've got to walk for 7 miles before. If you think about it, that's how we rationalize things.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, I'm going to have to logistically plan all these things out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, whoa.
There's a lot of work for... I was reading I started writing out the story of like Jesus calming the storm and then Legion. I just started writing it in movie form.
Oh.
And the part, Daniel said this one time about when Jesus woke up in the storm. Yeah. Everybody's like, we're perishing, we're dying. And Jesus like gets up. He was like, I just imagine him with like bedhead. Like he's just matted on the side. He's just like groggy, like
some seaweed
what's
stuck
the
to
deal?
his face.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, like maybe a little drool.
Yeah. Can you not just see him just kind of like rolling out of a hammock or whatever? And just kind of walking up there, just woke up, just walks out there and is just like, however he yells at, whatever it is. And then can you imagine just immediately after that, the storm is like submitted to him. And everybody's just standing there like, and it's all like they all questioned who he was. Could you imagine, like, what is he doing? Like, when he turns around, like, looks at him, just like, just like.
What if he, like, winked at him?
Nods or winks, and that's what I was seeing. I was like, I saw him, like, smile at him, just like,
wow.
Just like, and then go back down there.
Got back in his hand.
It says that he said, where's your faith, or something like that, but that kind of, I was seeing as like a smile, or just like, and because they were thinking that, like, who is he? What, we can do that? Like, what's the deal? But anyways, that's how much he doesn't care about the circumstances.
Yeah.
And to bring that peace into it. It's just like,
He's seeing the end.
Yes.
You know, it's like he's got he can see the end as well as the present, as as the end. And he's not sweating. It's like, oh, don't worry. When you go in, there'll be a guy there with, there'll be a donkey, right? You go get that donkey that's tied up. And when if someone talks to you and asks you, just tell him your master has need of it. It's like not like he knows everything that's going to happen. You know what I mean? He knows, but he knows everything that could happen. Yeah. With free will involved in the timeline.
Yo, that's a more powerful thought. Not just the things that will happen.
Things that can.
But every single possibility he's got an answer for.
Yeah.
In our free will, he's got 1,000. He's like, yo, I know you're going to choose this, but like if you decided not to choose that, then I've got a plan for this one too.
Redemption's in every one of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
In his way. But another thing you said, like, he saw the end. Yep. That is the key to life itself, is resting in the finished work, seeing it. If something comes up, we've got cancer. It's like, no, you're healed. You live in the reality of that, and the world catches up to that.
Yeah. It's the storm.
That's what, okay, I just saw it like, if you live in the finished work and you choose to actually, and I think you still have to acknowledge stuff. Like, don't pretend it doesn't exist. Right. Acknowledge the fact, like, yo, I'm living in this.
Yeah.
But you continue to stand in faith and you suck that experience into the reality of heaven.
Yeah.
To where you no longer are living in the natural.
Yeah.
That is disassociated.
Right.
From the spirit realm. Because, there's that tension of, like, in the spirit realm, right? It's like we're completely healed. We are made whole.
Yeah.
Right. But then in the natural, you have things like disease that pops up. And it's like, well, how do I rationalize that? I think you keep standing in faith and that disease gets swallowed up into the finished work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like.
You don't rationalize it. You can sit in the middle of it. And when you rest in the finished work, in the midst of it, and it's there, it's like you're going inside of it and grabbing it by the heart of the lungs and ripping it inside out. You know? Like skinning it.
And it's like, it doesn't matter how long it'll take.
And then you show it for what it is.
Exactly. Yeah. You showcase it.
Yes.
Knowing that, like you said, seeing the end.
Yes.
You see the end, so you're not worried about what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If you ever watch the end of a Super Bowl or something that was recorded and knew the end.
Yeah.
So when they get sacked on 3rd and long, you're not panicking. Oh, I know at the end we win.
Yeah.
And they're like, why are they punting on 3rd down?
Yeah.
It's like he's panicking. He doesn't know the end.
Right.
I mean, no one's going to punt on 3rd down, but.
Yeah. Knew the end of Samaritan last night.
From the beginning.
Listen, he did. He called that crap from the beginning. And I was like, I don't think so, James. He was right.
It started to build up. It's like, okay.
Was it that mysterious?
It was that horrible.
Did he pull out a gun and start?
He didn't have a gun. He had a sledgehammer in this one.
It was like the fake version of Thor.
Oh boy, yeah, I know it. Gosh, it was.
Okay.
I would.
I'm the bad one. Sorry.
Yeah, and the growling.
You ruined the end for me.
I will ruin the whole movie, so you don't have to go see it.
I was gonna say I encourage you to watch it for fun, but.
Why would you waste time?
I know it.
Good question.
You could watch The Hobbit.
Flat.
Dude,
yeah, I'll be watching that. It'll be so much better now when I watch The Hobbit because I'll be so thankful.
We should do that today.
Are y'all the kind of people that watch movies over and over and over and over?
I know
you
do.
Are.
Yeah,
I will if I really, really like it.
Kelsey gets on to me. She's like, "You don't ever want to watch anything new. You just want to watch the old stuff that you've already seen." And I'm like, "That's all that's left."
You know it's good.
I'm like, that's
Here's
all
the
we
thing:
have left.
I will only watch. Not kidding. I only watch Star Wars. Like if I'm going to repeat stuff, it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You watch Harry Potter?
Oh yeah, dude.
I never got into that.
Yeah, well, you're missing the Lord in it.
So yeah. Well, here's what we need. We need to have and I've been on this track. Kelsey and I were talking about watching the X-Men series again.
Oh,
I know y'all are X-Men fans,
good.
but I talked about Logan last night. I want to start from the beginning and watch it.
I've not seen those.
Oh.
I left Logan. I was so disappointed in the middle. I was like,
oh, you did?
What? They've ruined the characters.
It was sad.
It's like it's not supposed to be like this.
Yeah, the way it ended.
Wolverine is Zach's favorite.
The very end of it, there's redemption. There's redemption in it. But I understand for sure.
Disappointed.
Yeah. But back to the sickness and things, pulling it inside out, that is the definition of reproving the world of judgment.
Totally.
You're showcasing the defeat of the enemy. It's like, it's finished.
The head of
That's
Goliath.
the finished work again. It's like, well, here you go. And then it's like everything that happens to us is the gospel. It's the kingdom. It's like, okay, you want to hit me? Come on. I'll turn you inside out and showcase you for what you are.
Yeah.
Like, defeated.
Yeah.
You know, your time is like running out.
If you think about it, that's really what we are doing here on the earth.
Yeah.
Like I believe all of humanity is to showcase heaven.
Right.
It's to showcase the finished work of like, yo, this is what it means to actually live in communion.
Make a display of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not do the rules and regulations.
Right.
It is not about how often you go to church.
Mm-mm.
Like, it is about the power that is flowing through us. It is Yahweh putting himself on display.
Yeah.
Because he's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like,
What would you say the most powerful display of God? What would you say?
whoa,
Yeah, that's a big one.
the cross.
You think?
Yeah.
That has to be it. Yeah, then when you see it, yeah.
Like,
It's the fulcrum point. Or is it fulcrum
It's
point?
the axis focal point. Yeah.
Yeah.
to me, it has to be
Crux
the
of everything.
yeah, like this is the thing when Michael Heiser brought this out in the unseen realm, the two-head God, right? About
Oh, yeah.
how Jesus is Yahweh,
Yeah.
how Jesus is the physical form of Yahweh,
Yeah.
the creator, and how the actual Second Temple period Jews all believe that.
Yeah.
It just got lost in our understanding. To me, that did everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, he was my dad.
Yeah.
He is my brother.
Yeah.
But he was definitely my dad
Right.
that came down into my realm
Yeah.
and laid it on the line for me.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's what we talked about yesterday. It wasn't that big Santa Claus wizard God up there sent his son
yeah,
down there like, all right, you're going to take the brunt of all the sin in the world, the force of all of it. He's like, no, he did. He said, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to save my kids.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
I'm bringing the connection back. I'm going to be the one that gets to. I will do anything and everything.
gonna end it all. Yeah. And he did it.
Yeah,
That lights me up. It's the
It's
most
that
heroic,
Deep
amazing
passion of the lover of our soul.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
like he is like zealous to engage us. He's
Yeah.
zealous to, to press through to get a hold of us.
Yeah.
you know what's? I just had this thought. It's insanity to think you have to prove yourself to him.
Yeah.
It's insanity to think that I have to make sure I'm good
Yeah.
before I come to him
Yeah.
because he
proved himself to us.
He proved himself to us, so
Yeah.
I have nothing to prove.
Right.
Like he did everything on his end.
Yeah.
I think it's by his faith that we walk through things.
Yeah.
Like he's done it all.
Right.
So it sounds like you're saying love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Love
it.
is the most powerful demonstration.
Been made manifest.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because
that
he is.
healing, raising the dead, cleansing the leper, preaching the gospel to the poor. It's like,
Yeah.
but the greatest of these is love.
Absolutely.
That it's sort of the impetus of all the works of God.
Yeah.
That it's derived from love and it manifests in love and it infects those around us in love.
Yeah.
That they would be captured by that supernatural love and
Yeah.
go on and pass on this,
Yeah.
Holy Ghost Ebola, pass it
Yeah.
on.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, it's like I'm infected.
Mhm.
And it's like, what do you do now? Well, you
Mhm.
just love God.
Yeah.
What's that look like? Love him.
Give it away
Yeah.
too.
As you freely
Yeah.
received, so freely give. It's for freedom's sake that he set you free.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where you move from too. It's out of the fullness. When you see him for who he is and what he did, it's out of that fullness, that security that you can do what he did. That
Mhm.
love, you extend that to the people in the world. That's
Yeah.
where the world gets enveloped and taken over
Yeah.
by it. But it connects them to him,
Yeah.
But it's powerful.
Yeah.
Like it is what you were saying, talking about the stories with your brother and stuff. It's
Mhm.
like
Mm.
when you scream Jesus, to me, like it says God is love, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's like what he just did was he screamed love over his cousin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like love. To me, they're
Yeah.
synonymous. Like you say Jesus, you say love.
Yeah.
Literally, it's the same to me.
Right.
And that's what he did. He was proclaiming that
Yeah.
because love is life.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, honestly, with if we look at, I mean, the world esteems love, right? Rom-coms, you've got
that's manipulation.
A day.
That is full-blown manipulation, dude.
Hey, I believe in those. I watch them every night before I go to bed.
I knew your heart was so pure and sensitive. I didn't realize you went that far.
No, I'm totally kidding. I try to ditch those when my girls get together and they're like, "Hey, let's watch a rom-com." I'm like, I'm out of here.
Oh yeah.
But what I was saying is like, you see the power, innate power of love, and you look in the world around you, and you still see the bronze shields, right? How they got replaced. Solomon's shields, the gold ones, got replaced with bronze, and or you could compare it to like Samuel or Saul going to get a hold of Samuel through witchcraft.
Yeah,
it's like you see it around you. The world, everyone esteems love. John Lennon, all you need is love or whatever. So it's like they esteem it. Now identifying what it is, and everyone agrees it's kind of a benevolent act of self-sacrifice. Yeah. One that's giving and not taking, right?
Right.
Sounds a lot like Jesus.
Literally.
I know it.
So it's like you think they would be able to quickly grab a hold of it, but it goes right back to my dad and the cat.
Yep.
It's like, oh, the medicine kicked in. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, no, they are willing to take the placebo.
Yeah. Right.
And hope for the best.
Well, because there's more risk. There's more risk in not rationalizing things.
Yeah.
There's more like vulnerability that's required.
Yeah.
To actually believe something that isn't how I can rationalize it, I think.
Yeah.
And love is, well, the way it's been interpreted, love is just trash. And everything.
Hey, that's harsh, man.
Well, because it seeks its own.
It does.
No,
it keeps score, seeks its own. Needy, I need you. I love you, so you'll tell me you love me, so I'll be validated.
I can't imagine my life without you.
It's been destroyed. Yeah, it's been slimed. But the thing about the John Lennon, the love, the benevolence, force of love, what that is, people tap into it and feel it. But we say this, and I'll talk to like New Age people, and stuff like that, and they're like, you gotta follow you got to follow love. You got to follow the source. You got to follow the universe. And it's like, thank God he made himself known to us. Thank God he revealed this person. And it is Jesus. He is love.
He was not ambiguous, nor was he was straightforward.
He wasn't some blurry force.
Clear and
of a
straightforward.
feeling. He is that. He is Jesus. He's a person.
Very to the point.
Love is a person.
Deny yourself.
Yeah.
Take up your cross and follow me.
Yeah.
If you don't do this, you're not pursuing love.
Yeah.
You know, I went into this in my own thing about when he says like pick up your cross and follow me. I was like, when was the first time that actually happened?
Ooh.
Well, it was Simon, right?
Yeah.
Simon picked up the cross for the Lord and walked it to the skull. Well, Simon actually means hearing, means like to hear.
Oh, yeah.
And it struck me so hard. It's like, what it means to pick up your cross is just to hear him.
Yeah.
To hear him and to follow him.
Yeah.
And the place that he's taking you is going to crucify your mind.
He's going to unlock it.
It's going to like, your mind will be crowned with the cross to where you only view and see things, what we were talking about, through the finished work.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what it means.
Yeah.
It's literally to hear him and to follow him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is love. Like, I really believe that is what full love is.
Blessed is he who hears my voice or hears my word and does
and does it.
Yeah.
Yeah, golly, all the symbolism in that too, the meaning of that.
Yeah.
The place of the skull, that's not just carnality and thinking, that's death.
Yeah.
Yes.
The skull symbolizes death, that's all of it. Yeah, jam that cross in there.
Yeah.
Open.
It's an open portal, dude.
Even the practical.
Yeah.
Picking up the cross beside Jesus. Hey, it's Jesus, he's given us the opportunity. You know, Jesus could have picked that cross up.
No doubt.
He could have like manifest wings on the cross and
you know,
but it was like,
I think it was the partnership.
Yeah.
Yes.
He extended partnership.
Oh, yeah.
He extended it, and then not only that, but he was willing to let us partner with him in this. Get sweaty, get in it, get ridiculed in it. The blood of the cross is getting on him, and he's like, what? what is going on here?
What if he had a cut and it like actually got into the cut and then his whole blood like actually changed his whole DNA from that one moment?
Yeah. Probably not.
You never know.
Hey,
man.
And the willingness to just get in the middle of it and get dirty in that.
Yeah.
There's a freedom in that too. It's like, and in front of everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
To get there.
He
in the
probably
middle of
was
that.
reluctant in the beginning. I think, like, you imagine it, right? Like, you're in a crowd of people and like, what's going on over there? You kind of poke your head through the crowd and the camera zooms and you're part of the crowd, right? The camera sees you and you're seeing this guy and you're like, man, that's so wrong. That's so wrong. Your worldly compassion's like, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
And then the Roman guard grabs you, throws you down there, carry it for him.
Yeah.
And it's like,
what do you think Jesus looked like at Simon?
Yeah.
Like the eye contact I guarantee you he made eye contact.
Oh yeah.
Because Jesus made eye contact with Peter before he ever went to the cross.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it literally says he looked at him.
Oh yeah. That's a cool part.
Like what do you think happened with Simon? Like,
dude, you lock eyes with God.
Was Jesus pumped? Was Jesus pumped in the midst of all of the pain where his body is he's got like demonic hordes on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
That's not bugging him though at all. It's like gnats, right?
Yeah.
You're like,
the joy.
It was the joy
set before him.
right?
And
Totally.
Simon's probably, if I'm him, I'm thinking like everything shuts off around you.
yeah.
And it's just like here,
Tunnel vision.
the justice, the redemption, all of it.
But I'm saying like how thick the atmosphere was.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Sure.
because everybody's feeling all of the demonic
The swirl.
around.
Yeah.
There's definitely like
Darkness pushing in.
Yeah.
But what you're saying, like Simon stepped into the tunnel.
Yeah.
He stepped in like,
Probably got real quiet.
I don't feel anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel the pressure.
Yeah.
That's good.
Like I see him
Yeah.
and I'm good. I'll do it. Like I'll carry it.
Yeah. What an honor.
I'll be on display here
Yeah.
with you
Yeah.
as we're moving.
You know how quick his thoughts changed as soon as he locked eyes with God and
Mm.
felt that?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he was like, oh no, I'm getting pulled into this. And then he's like, locks eyes and it's like,
Doesn't matter.
like,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is surely the Son of God.
Yeah.
That's so practical because how often we get caught up in the swirl of our own thoughts or the what's happening here? Like this feels swirly. This feels like whatever. And he's like, nope, come to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Come to me. Lock eyes.
Yeah. That's it.
You'll feel the load go.
Yeah.
Man. I like that story.
I do too. It's
It's
incredible.
fantastic.
You should write that one out.
Oh yeah, I want to write them all. I just want to write them all. Like we talked about writing our stories. There's something about processing it and just living in it.
Mm-hmm.
We need some good movies.
You could have Zach
do.
act Jesus in the movie.
Oh yeah, I know it. Get him to grow his
I've been
beard.
calling him Leonidas.
He looks
Zach.
like Leonidas.
I know. I look over there the other day in church. I'm like, that's Leonidas. Tell Zach he's Leonidas.
You know, he told me, he was like, I really like that.
He does.
This is Sparta.
Yeah. Oh
Put
my
my
gosh.
foot in the devil's chest and kick
him in
back.
that pit. Yeah. You ever seen 300?
No.
Yeah.
He has. I haven't.
Okay.
You just gotta have your finger on the fast forward button
Couple.
for three times,
Oh yeah.
and just like
Yeah. Xerxes the God King and his
Oh, that's
stuff.
that's just dark. But the his
He's
time
like, I don't care about the darkness.
No.
I've been around that stuff.
the time he's like with his wife.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't watch that.
Every time you see him standing in the window balcony,
okay.
you quick forward,
Okay.
and then after that, like almost
Yeah.
a minute after that, he's climbing up the mountainside.
Yeah.
Hit fast forward.
Yeah.
And then after that, yeah, it's pretty much all victory. Dude, that's so valiant.
Yeah.
I mean, to honor,
Yeah.
that's my heart, is like to give all,
Yeah.
give it all. And in the small things, that builds up to the big things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, honor, courage, bravery, sacrifice.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And the Lord's extending, I think he's extending the opportunity to believe.
Yeah.
I think he's just giving us, he's feeding us, building our belief in him for those big things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the first time I heard, I can't remember which one of y'all said it, where it was, oh, that'll be food for us. That's food
James.
for us.
I don't
Is that
know.
of,
That's something you would say.
when Joshua and Caleb went into the promised land, like, there'll be food for us.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've never heard that. And then I heard it 3 other times, and I heard
in the
Daniel
Bible.
say it.
Yeah.
It's literally written in there.
What version? I don't read the Passion.
Passion ain't got that.
Not that I doubt you.
Yeah.
But I'd never heard that. Again, like so many other things God hasn't highlighted for me.
Yeah, it's just always, it's always something.
It's revelatory.
Always something new, yeah.
Yo, listen, all you gotta do is read the Bible. It'll look different every time.
I know it.
Like,
I think I have short-term memory loss.
Really?
Every time I open it, I'm like, what?
is that like
do too,
Dory?
yeah.
Yeah.
I do too.
Just keep reading.
Yeah.
I've got good long-term memory. My short-term is trash. I don't
My
remember what I had for
long-term
breakfast.
is trash, too.
Really? No, you're telling stories. How'd you get here?
Did I drive? I think I walked.
Wait,
Who drank
what?
my coffee?